Hello, YouTube. How you guys doing today? Welcome back to our midweek episode of Real Talk Therapy 101 with your girl, Ebony. This week, we've been focusing on the second phase of self-care as we have our real talk conversations of just simply talking about how to take care of ourselves. But before we even could get there, we need to learn who we are again, because we've gone through so much thus far, depending on whether you are in that early stage of being an adult, middle stage of being an adult, or the late adulthood stage in your life. Sometimes we have to start over with some things in our life. And so all of those things can be scary when we've gone or reached a plateau or gone through something that we've never gone through before. And, we have to be able to try to find our way, the best way that we know how. But a lot of times we don't know how, and we don't know who to talk to about it. So that's where your girl comes in. Here to talk to you, share with you different ways to get through those uncharted waters and to find your path, find your way, and to do what you need to do that makes sense and is tailored to you. Yes, you, in your own way. And here on Real Talk Therapy, before we go into our conversations daily, your girl features a custom-made t-shirt of the day that usually is in tune with what we're talking about, as well as a bag of the day and kicks of the day. So before we get started, let's go ahead and get into that. Today's t-shirt says, fearlessly authentic. And you remember we went through just this week alone. First day was crisis identity. We broke that, our identity crisis. Yeah, so this is real. Y'all see, if I make a mistake, I try to fix it. If I don't think about it till the next day, I try to remember to talk about it. But at any rate, our first conversation this week, we went into, or our theme for this week is self-care 102, self-awareness, and, crisis or identity crisis. Just knowing who we are, even after we go through some life-changing things, staying who we are and not picking up any of those crisis characteristics that we take on in the midst of our crisis, so that we can continue to stay true to ourselves. We also talked about identity theft, but not in the natural sense of the word. We're talking about identity theft where not when someone tries to take, anything from you, but when you try to steal somebody else's identity. If you aren't careful when you go in a crisis, you forget who you are, and you start looking at the way other people maneuver and make it through this world, and you start wanting to be like people so bad that you lose the sense of who you are. And one thing that I personally have an issue with is anybody trying to be like anybody else, because I believe that we were all created in our shells and for our purpose, and we should embrace who we are and want to be who we were created and designed to be. So let me pause because I'm getting started already. Our Coach bag of the day, and our bag is featured from Coach. It's just a little powder baby blue tote. It is reversible, so you'll see the other side at a later date. But y'all remember the totes. You get a lot of stuff in here. Nice little handy dandy bag for the day. And our kicks for the day are the Rainbow Brights. You guys have seen these before, but they have that shade of pink and blue that I like. It just meshed well with what I had going on today. So it's midweek hump day, and we're gonna jump right back into this conversation. So fearlessly authentic. And the reason why I chose this design, these words, this way to go for today is that we cannot be afraid of who we are. And a lot of times we're afraid of who we are because we worry about what people think about us. And for a long time, I didn't used to think or care what people thought about me. But back in 2017, 2016, around in there, I went through some life-changing events, and I do mean life-changing, that took me some places I had never been before and caused me to have to seek professional, help. And that's when I received my official diagnosis of major depression. And during that time, I felt like my life was over. I felt a certain way with hearing certain people rather, say certain things. So remember, I'm not immune to being talked about. People talking about me right now, but the good thing about it is the buzz of this channel. And if they keep getting these views up, I promise you, if you let me know that you was one of them fans that came on and was boosting me up, I'm gonna look out for you. Because I'm gonna have some giveaways too, y'all. I'm cleaning out my closet, getting rid of some stuff, and so I want to be able to give these things away. I would love to give them away to a youth, but we'll talk about that later on when we get to that point. But at any rate, I'm gonna look out for the cookout because you got me going to places that I want to go. And so I embrace the hate. I embrace the naysayers now. But back in 2016, 2017, I had a hard time with it. And I had made a vow to myself that I would never do this type of work again because of what I personally went through. And needless to say, the bad parts about that story were televised. It was put out there in the world. People were, having their say about it. But there were a handful of people who actually called me up or made it their business to get in touch with me just to see if I was okay. I then worked at an agency who said to me, I don't care what the world is saying about you. That's not who I know. And what I can say to you guys today, without fear and being my authentic self, I did not do what I was accused of doing, but I did do some things I had no business doing. And in that is I would try to cut corners and help people in ways that were not regulated under the job description that I was doing. And because I had never been in any type of legal trouble other than a speeding ticket or anything like that, I didn't know what my options are or what I could do in that moment. And so I trusted other people with my livelihood. I can sit here before you today and say I will never make that mistake again. I learned from it. So now I've learned different things and ways to protect myself because I became more aware of myself. And although I did some things that I shouldn't have in the eyes of whomever, or I went about doing some things in the name of helping others, if I just would have sought some guidance before doing anything, I could have avoided those 2 years of hardship. Now, because I stayed the course is the only reason why I'm sitting here before you today, able to be a business owner, able to be a contract employee, able to know my worth and add tax when I want and need to, able to do the things that I want to do and maneuver how I want to maneuver, able to make my schedule, able to do it the right way without fear of not being my authentic self. And my authentic self is a helper. I want to help. I told my sister girl, my good girlfriend that I was talking to that day, even though I told y'all it's some bridges that I burned down to the ground and I'm never going back that way again, if some of those people made their way to where I am now and needed my assistance, guess what? The price would be so high. The brass tacks would be too much that I wouldn't say no. But when I write up my contract, I already know they can't afford it. So touche. We move on. It is what it is. That some people like to say. I'm not that person. But I know my worth. And anybody from my past knows my worth and they know what I can do. And I get emails, calls, and texts all the time. Hey, we want you back. Can you come back? We need you. Da 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 da. There's just some places and some circumstances I'm never going to put myself in again. Some places I wouldn't mind going back and doing. But when I name my price, I don't hear back. But that's because my worth is my worth. And I'm not giving discounts for nobody. I went through that era. And remember, it's not being cocky, it's being confident. I used to feel like I couldn't toot my own horn because that was being conceited. Well, no, the truth is the truth. And if I'm good at what I'm good at, it's okay for me to say it. And whoever receives it in a negative connotation or a negative manner, that's on them. Because I'm not saying it in a way. I just know the way I'm going to do it is different from the way anybody else is going to do it. Not that my way is better than theirs, but I know the fruits of my labor. And I know what those fruits are worth now. My harvest is hard to come by, but my harvest is bountiful. You know, I'm going to give you top tier results. So I deserve top dollar. And I allowed so many different things that came into my life to take that away from me for so many years. But like my girl Oprah said on The Color Purple, old Sophia is back. I'm back. And I'm better than ever before because I learned from those mistakes. I made it through those crises without taking those pieces of the crisis, without adapting them to my identity. I never tried to be something or someone that I wasn't. Now, I was confused and not being myself, but I never adopted the behavior of anybody else. Never. Remember, I told y'all that saying I wouldn't walk a mile or you wouldn't want to walk a mile in my shoes. I ain't even going to invite you to walk in mine. And I don't want to walk in yours. And that's not a negative connotation. I don't want to walk in your shoes because I'm not you. I don't know which way you're supposed to go. You don't know which way I'm supposed to go. And because we don't know that, because we did not create ourselves, we were created, we have to be able, to find that drive to find our own way. To look for our lane. Oh, y'all already know what I'm drinking on today. I try to have one a day, y'all, too. So, I'm a little peach crush. I try to have one a day. Ooh, some good stuff. But I'm telling you, I love that. I love drinking that. But, we go to Webster for our definitions. And so, Webster describes authentic as of undisputed origin, genuine, undisputed origin. You cannot compare where you don't you cannot compete where you don't compare. And when people are authentic, when they're their authentic self, stop trying to compete with people. Let's work together so we can all win. If I'm trying to teach you how to do something, while I'm talking, be quiet. And vice versa. When I'm out here trying to learn something, when a teacher is teaching, I shut up. I need to hear. I need to receive. I need to know what's being said. I need to take notes. And when I'm taking notes, I'm not trying to be like the teacher. I'm adapting what I'm learning, or I'm incorporating what I'm learning. So when my authentic self presents it, it's like I told y'all, you're going to hear some stories and some parables like you never heard them before, simply because they're coming from me. You have to see things the way you see things. And the beauty of that is learning to agree to disagree. Nobody in this world is supposed to think like you. They're not you. But if you want your thoughts to be processed, deliver them in a way that people will receive them. It's too easy. What does it mean to be authentic? Put simply, authenticity means you're true to your own personality, values, and spirit, regardless of the pressure that you're under to act otherwise. You're honest with yourself and with others. And you take responsibility for your mistakes. I took responsibility for what I did wrong. And the outcome, oh my God, is beyond my wildest dreams. There's a song my husband let me hear over the weekend, and there's a verse, and we're going to have a segment on it. But now it's just the perfect time for me to plug it. The young man on the song, and I'm going to try to find it and reference it and put it at the end of this video, but a verse in this song says, "This drive that I have can't be put in reverse." I have a drive to obtain my goals again. I did it before, I'm going to do it again. I'm speaking life into me, not just you or anybody else that I come in contact with. I told you I'm the best hype man in the world. If you out there on the dance floor, whether you got 2 left feet or you boogieing down to the ground, if I'm there, I'm going to hype you up so you going to think you the best dancer in the United States of all of America. If you got on an outfit and that outfit is speaking to you, I'm going to speak to you in that outfit. I'm a natural born cheerleader. Even to the people that are my fans. I ain't got no art with nobody. You got a problem with me, it's personal. Take it up with yourself. I don't bother nobody, so I expect to stay unbothered. This bear don't need to be poked, especially not now. Get to that space and protect yourself. Own up to your mistakes. If you do something wrong and you're asked about it, quit making excuses. Tell the truth. The more you lie and the more the wind uncovers your lies and the more you begin to be exposed, because see, some of y'all love the limelight. Let me tell you what comes with good lighting. With good lighting, every flaw and blemish is seen. And that's what people are looking for. They're looking for something to expose from you. But when you're authentic, fearlessly authentic, I don't give 1 2 cents what anybody got to say. Because you don't know the beginnings, the ends, or the outs. You're only speaking on either what you heard, what you think you know, or you're making it up because you're mad. And 9 times out of 10, you're mad at yourself. Do something. Do something. My cousin, one of my favorite older cousins, his birthday is coming up, and he had a whole movement with just do something. You do something, so you ain't got to worry about what everybody else is doing. Do something. And if you're going to sit around and be a critic, you can put that to use too. Go to work for one of these gossip columns or magazines. Start a gossip page. If you want to sit around and tell lies, do something. But when you operate in fear, when you're not authentic, when all you want to do is create chaos and tear people down, you the one that need to be having a real talk anyway. Because there's something in here that's lacking. Gossiping is not authentic. It's not. Because eventually you should be real enough to where you're sitting around talking about somebody. And we all do it. Remember, I told y'all I do it. But now I get in a place where I stop myself. And whoever I'm talking to, that ain't right. We shouldn't do that. I don't even want to partake in this conversation anymore. I got bigger fish to fry. And not only that, I'm talking from a place that's only relatable to me and in my mind. Don't make it authentic. It doesn't. You have to be who you are and recognize when you're wrong. And stop thinking that you're always right. Nobody is perfect. The way I'm getting ready to tell you this ending story, you're never going to hear it this way again. And somebody may go out here and try to tell it again because they done heard me tell it. That's cool. But I guarantee you, you're going to leave some details out. Because remember, you got to tell it from your place of understanding. That's the only way it's going to make sense to you and to whomever you're trying to tell it to. But I'll also give y'all a little nugget. Now, this is a bonus one. And I hope you go ahead and get it for free. Because when your girl blow up, everything going to cost. And that's real talk. But if you work in behavioral and or mental health, and if you work in a substance abuse capacity, or if you want to use what you see on my channel, have at it. Use it as an intervention. Let your clients watch this. Then write your note. I'm giving out free interventions right now. You got to capture the effectiveness. The purpose should have already been developed. And for anybody outside of this field, I just described what we call in this industry a pie note. The purpose is the goal that the client is trying to reach. The intervention is what you use to try to help them reach that goal. The effectiveness is how they responded to it and what you capture on your note. Now, I hope y'all pick that up. Because in a little while, this thing's going to cost you something. Better get it while it's free. Fearlessly authentic. Okay? So you got Little Red Riding Hood. The fable don't tell us how old chick is. I don't know if she in a teenager, a kid. I don't know what she is. But for the sake of the way I'm getting ready to tell the story, she's in about middle adulthood. Because she's not grown enough to be in late adulthood yet. She's not young enough to still be in early adulthood. So I'm going to put her in the bracket with me. I'm going to say she's around 45, 46. So Little Red Riding Hood is out here in the forest, skipping, doing whatever. And she comes across, oh, wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. Because your girl, you know what, wait a minute. I don't want to do Little Red Riding Hood right now. I'm going ahead of myself. Little Red Riding Hood is coming. Either tomorrow or Friday. So pardon me for getting ahead of myself. Being fearlessly authentic, we're going to go to Goldilocks. So, pardon my whole introduction into Little Red Riding Hood, okay? Hold on, because she coming. But we're going to talk about Goldilocks real quick and those three bears. So, again, I don't know Goldilocks' age. I don't know if the fable tells me Goldilocks' age or whatever. But we know Goldilocks is out here in the woods somewhere. She comes across this house and, you know, she goes in there. And if we're saying that she's a child, the first question that your girl here want to know, where was her parents? That she out here in the woods and she going to these people's house. So we know the three bears. There was Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Baby Bear. They done went to town. Out there scavenging, doing whatever they do. Goldilocks went to these people's house. And there's 3 bowls of porridge. Okay? So porridge, grits, oatmeal, whatever you want to call it. Now, because Goldilocks is out here where she shouldn't have been without supervision, and or if she wasn't a child, she shouldn't have been out there without somebody knowing where she was at. She was by herself. She done broke and entered, so she done committed a crime. She done went to these people's house. She had no business in there. And now, she going through, you know, all of that stuff. She eating that food, and we know that the papas was too hot, the mamas was too cold, but everything with Baby Bear was just right. So his food was just right. She done ate his food. She sat in his chair. It was comfortable for her. And the last thing with Goldilocks, she ends up in this bear's bed. Because it's just right. Remember, everything was just right. But none of it belonged to her. So the family of the bears, they come back home and they discover, yo, somebody done been in our house, they done ate our food, they done sat on my chair, they done been in my bed, and the baby says, hey, she's still here. She's still in my bed. And when Goldilocks wake her little tail up, she's scared. Now, why are you afraid after you've done all of these things that you had no business doing? And the fable, you know, they didn't eat her or nothing crazy like that. She made it out on the other side. But she did what felt just right for her in the moment, not recognizing that towards the end of what she was doing, that she had no business doing, and she was out there without any protection, could have cost her her life. Now, there's no follow-up story to Goldilocks and the Three Little Bears, but here's what I like to think happened. I like to think that Goldilocks got the heck up out of there, was able to go back to wherever she came from, evaluated what she had done, and moved back to who she was before she went out there in those woods, messing with people that she had no business messing with. Doing things that she didn't have any business doing. So that her next trip down memory lane or in the woods, she's not going to go somewhere that she's not supposed to be. She's not going to do things that she's not supposed to do. She's going to do things the right way. So that Goldilocks have her own house that's just right. Her own food, her own career, her own husband, her own family. All of those things that are just right for her. Because now she's being her authentic self. And she's in these same woods without fear. That's where you got to get, guys. You got to get to a place of knowing that if you've ever done anything in life that you ain't had no business doing, no matter how you did it, no matter why you did it, to know that you can still do what's right and still be okay and still make it out and not hold yourself to or be stuck at that standard of what your mistakes are. It's possible. It's doable. And there's so many people out here that can tell you their story or share their testimony with how they made it out of situations that look sticky, but they are authentic enough to say, I was somewhere I had no business. I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to do. But I was able to use all of that experience and learn from my mistakes and make it out to the other side. So being self-aware, being self-conscious is being accepting of everything it is about you. The good, the bad, the ugly. And to not care what other people have to say. And to not get caught up when they try to tell your story. Because they're going to miss a part. And you got to remember, they're coming from a place of where they're trying to steal your identity. Because they can't understand how you went through what you went through and people love you even more now than you were loved before. And that's okay. Because now you're in a position to help them. And that's what you do. Don't look to be tit for tat. Reach your hand out and say, come on, let me show you how I did it. Now, I can't teach finesse like the little Boss Man D-Lo, I think that's his name. I love that song. I can't teach finesse, but I can tell you the recipe. How you whip it up and how you make it work for you is up to you. And it's only if you're willing to listen. And that's real talk. See you guys. Oh, before we go, please, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, share. And see you guys tomorrow. Bye.